A very good morning and a warm welcome to all of you, my dear students, to English class. Today in English, we are going to learn a new lesson, that is at the science fair. So, in this lesson, let's see how Vidya Vardhini School had arranged the science fair. So, in this lesson, you will learn about how to plan, organize, and even conduct a science fair. Even how to do the graphic presentation as well as oral presentation, and what are the scientific methods to arrange for the science fair, and how to find out the answers to certain scientific questions. So let's begin the lesson at the science fair. So let us see how a science fair was organized by Vidya Vardhini School. Now, children, before I begin, I would like you to tell that you have to sit with a pencil and your textbook in your hand, and whatever meanings I will be telling, you have to note them down. Is that clear, students? Okay. Let us first read by paragraph by paragraph, and I'm going to tell you the explain with meanings. Okay. At the science fair. The science fair at Vidya Vardhini School was always an exciting affair. There were a number of stalls which were never less than 50, entertainment booths, and of course refreshments. There were two basic rules. One, everything should be handled by students, and two, everything, even the entertainment booths and refreshment stalls, had to have a scientific base. Now, students, let me explain you the meaning of this paragraph. You know that in your school also, sometimes the school science exhibition will be there, or science fair will be there, and you know what are the things done for the science fair. Okay, you have stalls put, some entertainment booths will be put, and of course there will be refreshments. So here too in Vidya Vardhini School, science fair was always an exciting affair, okay, or exciting event. So there were stalls, okay. So these stalls were more than, not never less than 50. That means they were always more than 50. Entertainment booths. Now booths means what? A booth is nothing but, write down, you can take down or note down this meaning. A booth is nothing but a small tent or maybe a temporary structure which is built at an exhibition or maybe a fair. So you also might have visited certain fairs, and you might have seen certain booths wherein they are put like the tents, okay, wherein they will be displaying all their items. So same way here also there were booths made, or small tents were made, which was even meant for certain entertainment purpose. Okay, and of course refreshments, you know how many of you like a lot of refreshments, like cold drinks, juices, or whatever it is, vada pav or whatever, right? Because when you have to have certain fairs and all, these refreshment booths also will be there, right? All of you like this, right? Yes. So here too they had not only the stalls but even entertainment booths, and of course refreshments were also there. Now when they had decided to make this science fair, there were two rules, okay, two basic rules. One was everything should be handled by students. That means no teacher will be interfering there. Only students will be doing on their own or handling everything on their own. And second, everything, even the entertainment booths and refreshment stalls, had to have a scientific base. That means whatever on the entertainment booth also had some scientific base. That means something they had to make to entertain people, which had scientific value, scientific meaning. Okay, and even refreshments which were put also should have some scientific quality, or maybe whatever was prepared, maybe that was of nutritious food, or maybe which was giving good nutrition to the people. Like that, refreshment stalls were made. That means they had some scientific base. Okay, now let's see the second paragraph. Preparation for the fair began at least a couple of months in advance. The first step was brainstorming. The principal invited ideas for the event from students, teachers, and even parents. A host of ideas poured in. Luckily, many parents not only contributed ideas but also volunteered to help with the planning and implementation of the big event. So, a committee of parents and teachers was set up to look after all the work of the fair. Some student representatives were also taken on the committee to give them a first-hand experience of managing big programs like this. Now, students, whenever a certain event is organized in the school or maybe at any other place, there has to be some planning, and these plannings have to be done. So couple of months before, few months it has to be done. It cannot be done within a day or two, right? So it has for any event has to be organized well in advance. So there has to be some preparation, some plannings, how to organize and how to put up, how to conduct, everything has to be pre-planned. So here also in Vidyavardhini school, preparation for this fair also had started long back. That means couple of months in advance. Okay, and what was the first step in planning of, what was the first preparation? First preparation was brainstorming. Okay, student, now what is meant by brainstorming? So you can note down this meaning of brainstorming. Brainstorming is nothing but wherein people, a group of people are coming and thinking on a topic or something at the same time, okay, to come up with ideas and plans. Okay, so brainstorming, what does it mean? It means a group of people thinking of something at the same time to come up with some ideas or plans. So that means many people are coming together to come up with some ideas. That is only called as brainstorming. Of course, for any preparation you need to have ideas and plans, then only it will be successful, right? So you cannot just put up anything without any plans, otherwise it will be a failure. That is why you need to brainstorm your ideas. Okay, you have to put upside some ideas, and it has to be come out from many people. A group of people have to decide. One person cannot decide that this things will be done. So for that, many people have to come together and share their ideas, contribute to whatever planning has to be done, that will be done. So this was the first step, that is brainstorming. Okay, now the principal invited ideas for the event from everyone, like from students, teachers, and even parents are a part of the committee of the school, right? So PTA members are there, right? So like that, even parents were there for contributing for the ideas. Okay, so principal had done what? He had invited everyone, not only teachers but even students' ideas were taken, and even parents' ideas were also taken. Fine. Then a host of ideas poured in luckily. Okay, host of ideas means, it's a host of ideas is a phrase. Okay, host of ideas means many ideas or large number of ideas came out from everyone. When people sit together, many people sit together, there will be so many ideas coming out, right? So therefore, host of ideas means a large number of ideas. Host of ideas is a phrase. So you can note down, host of ideas is a phrase, and the meaning of this phrase is a large number of ideas. Okay, so when many people are coming together, of course there will be many ideas coming out. Fine. So poured means many ideas came out from different people. Luckily, many parents not only contributed ideas but also volunteered to help. So they were volunteered to help means they were ready to help on their own. Okay, so they were volunteering also. So they not only gave ideas, but even they were ready to help with the planning and implementation of the big event. Implementation means to carry out. Okay, implement means to carry out. So they were helping even to plan out as well as to carry out this big event. So a committee of parents and teachers was set up to look after all the work of the fair. Now what does a committee means? A committee means a group of people which has been appointed to do a particular duty or to perform a particular duty. Committee means a group of people who are appointed to perform a particular duty. Is that clear, student? Okay. So here also committee, many people, a group of people had come out here. They had responsibilities or they were given certain duties. So committee of parents and teachers was set up to look after all the work of the fair. Some student representatives were also taken on the committee to give them a first-hand experience of managing big programs like this. Okay, so you know that mostly big events and all are conducted by the teachers. Teachers take the responsibility. But here even some students representative, few of the group of students were chosen. Okay, they were chosen to take into the they were taken into the committee, and they were given a first-hand experience. First-hand experience means they would be doing it for the first time. So that experience they can hold it for a longer period of time. That is why first experience should be there. So they were also given a first-hand experience of managing this big program. Okay, a big program like this. Let's read the second paragraph now. The committee identified certain themes for the fair. Okay, now whenever, I'll read out first, then I'll explain. Committee identified certain themes for the fair. They were plants, animals, okay, you can see plants, animals, energy. Okay, so energy, maybe about energy we can learn about forms of energy, sources of energy, right? So energy topic was also decided, or theme was decided, forms of energy as well as energy resources. Science in our everyday life, food and nutrition, okay, and latest news from the world of science, right, and food and nutrition. Considering the area of the school playground and the estimated turnout, it was decided to allow 56 stalls in the fair. The stalls were allotted to as many groups of children. Each group selected a topic or idea from the chosen themes. The committee had to make sure that the topics were not repeated. Okay, now the committee identified certain themes for the fair. Now, the plan was done, ideas were put up. Now it has to be decided what themes would be there inside in the fair. So the themes means what? A theme is a subject or maybe a main idea of what you are going to put up. Okay, so here also there were main ideas, and main ideas are just read out. Okay, so there were certain themes. So main ideas like plants. Okay, so some students would be doing something on plants, some would be doing on animals, or maybe what are the properties of the different substances. Then energy, different forms of energies. What are the different forms of energy? Wind energy, solar energy, conventional sources of energy, whatever. Okay, different forms of energy. Then energy resources, from wind energy comes from wind, solar energy from sun. Okay, then other energy like chemical energy comes from the fuel like the coal, petrol, diesel. Okay, they are all called as resources. So the energy was also one of the theme. Then science in our everyday life. Everyday life means that is when we are getting up from the morning till the late night. Whatever we are doing in that every part of your from waking up till going to the bed again, we are doing so many things that has scientific background. So that was included in science in our everyday life. Like even when you are getting up early in the morning, why you need to brush your teeth, why you need to go to toilet and have a bath, everything has a scientific base. So that was included in science in everyday life. Then, latest news from the world of science. You know that science is always progressing. There are so many developments taking place in the field of technology, right? And it is just because of the science. So that means lot of research is going on every day in science, and therefore there has to be some stalls which would be putting up for latest news from the world of science, so that people come to know what is exactly happening in everyday in the world of science. Then food and nutrition is of course a very important topic, because your health depends on food as well as the nutrition what you take in, right? So people have to so one has to know about the importance of taking the right type of food and right amount of nutrition, right? So that was also included in the science fair, food and nutrition. Considering the area of the school playground and the estimated turnout, it was decided to allow 56 stalls in the fair. Now you also have in your school a lot of area around, right? Your assembly hall or maybe hall, even the playground, wherever it is, whatever it is there, correct? No, so these stalls when you are putting, you have to decide a place, a proper place for putting up, so that all the people can come and visit at the same time and same place, right? So even here what was decided, a school playground was decided to be used for the science fair. And estimated turnout, estimated means what? To estimate means what? Means to find out the approximate area, how much is the approximate area of the place. So here estimated, the word estimated means approximate, or an idea of something without doing the exact calculation, that is called as approximation or estimation. You are just finding out how much it will be approximately, okay? So it's not it may not be the real one, but it may be something which you have an idea, proper idea, some idea about how to do it. So that is estimated. So estimated turnout according to the size area of the school playground, it was decided that around 56 stalls may be there in the fair. Okay, how many? So 56. So here it is mentioned, the first paragraph itself, that this school, when they were arranging for the science fair, they the stalls which were put up were never less than 50. So here you can see the number 56 stalls. So they had decided to put around 56 stalls in the fair. Okay, now the stalls were allotted to as many groups of children. So 56 stalls, that means 56 groups of were made of the children. Okay, now each group selected a topic or idea from the chosen themes. Now there were so many chosen themes like plants, animal, energy, science in everyday life, food and nutrition, properties of substances, and latest news in the world of science. So these were some of the themes, and from these themes only children had selected certain topics or ideas from these themes. Okay, now the committee had to make sure that the topics were not repeated. Yes, of course, whenever certain stalls are there, these stalls have to be completely different from one another. It is not that everyone is going to put something same topics, then others people will get bored and they'll say, ye to, I mean, that is, everything is the same thing. That is why the committee had to make sure that the topics were not repeated. The young scientists began their work in earnest. They began by collecting a lot of information about the topic using their science textbook, their school library, and also the internet. They shared and discussed this information in their groups. The next step was to decide the exact activity for their stall, whether they would build and display a model, or give a demonstration, or present their project through posters, or simply exhibit a collection. Now, let's learn about this paragraph now. Okay, now you know that the themes were decided. Children had, they were put into different groups. Around 56 stalls were made, or everything was done now. I mean, decided what has to be done now. Now what is the next step? The next step is to find out about the information about whatever topic they have chosen, right? So the young scientists, who are the young scientists here? Here the young scientist, the author wants to say that they are the students, okay, who will be performing certain tasks regarding whatever topics they have done. Okay, so the young scientists began their work in earnest. In earnest means, in earnest is a phrase. So in earnest means started seriously, or seriously and sincerely. Okay, so they started their work very seriously and sincerely, all of the young scientists. They began by collecting a lot of information. Okay, you cannot just display anything without any proper correct information. So they also began their work by getting by collecting a lot of information about the topic, using, first, either they can use a science textbook, correct, then you can get a lot of information in the library, and also nowadays you get all the information on the internet, because internet you get the information at a finger click, right students? So here all the children gathered information, collected information from the science textbook, then from the library, and even from the internet. And once they collected the information, all of them sat together and they shared and discussed this information in their groups. So children also, when you are working in a group, within a group also you cannot find just one thing. One person will find one thing, the other will be finding another thing. So you have to decide what type of information you are going to get. So that once everything is collected, different topics, within that topics also there will be subtopics, and each of these subtopics will be dealt by each one of these students. So when you come together, you will be sharing and discussing whatever information you have gathered. So here also they did the same thing. Okay, now the topic was divided into subtopics, and each subtopic was given to each student, and once they had gathered or collected this information, they shared and discussed this information among their group. So now the next step was to decide the exact activity for their stall. Once they have gathered now information, they have to decide what activity or how this activity of the topic they are going to conduct. Okay, so whether they would build and display a model. Okay, in a science fair you have to make a working model or maybe a stationary model, right? So a model will be there, so that when you look at a model you understand. Like for example, most of you make a model of a windmill. Okay, how wind energy is used for the electricity. This is a very common project in the science. So like that, either stationary model you're going to make, or whether you're going to make a working model, or maybe just give a demonstration. That means you're going to perform some experiments there at the same time, right? Like some chemistry experiments you can perform, can show the change in the color, right? Because people get attracted to see something which is happening like a magic. So here also to give demonstration means to do an experiment there itself, or maybe present their project to the posters. So this also can be done, that you can simply put posters of whatever is the scientific idea behind your project. So that just present your project to either posters or maybe exhibit or a collection. That means on a poster you will be putting certain collections by putting some pictures and some ideas, right? Fine. So this was done now, that they had decided, they had collected the information, they have gathered and sat together, discussed in the group, and they had even discussed what activity exactly they are going to put, whether they are going to make a model, or maybe they are presenting, that is demonstration, or maybe presenting through posters, or maybe exhibit or a collection. Fine. Now everything was done. Now the principal announced that the language, okay, appearance and the content of the presentation were all important. Yes, my dear students, language is very important, because as far as when you're explaining, you need to explain it with the proper language, with proper pronunciation, then no grammatical errors, right, with proper intonation, voice modulation, everything is very important. So principal also had announced the language what they are going to present. Like for example, in our school is English medium school, so whenever you will be explaining, you will be explaining everything in English, right? Correct. So language is very important whenever you are trying to explain. So principal announced the language appearance of your project should be very interesting and eye catching, right? So the content of the presentations were all important. Whatever content you have put, it should not be something which is not very important. You have to put the content of presentation in such a way that once you read out the presentation through your posters or maybe through your collection or exhibit, that has to give the clear idea about your project. So it has to be presented in that manner. That the language teachers help the young stall holders to make their graphic and oral presentations more effective. Now, whenever you are presenting certain things, you need to have a graphic presentation, and also this graphic presentation has to be explained orally. Okay, that means you simply, some people may not be knowing to read, right? Whenever whoever is coming to visit your fair, okay, they need to understand what you have put up. So sometimes some people like to hear and some people like to read. So those who don't like to read, they can hear, and those who don't like to hear, they may read, right? So there has to be both graphic presentation as well as the oral presentation. So here their language teachers, that means whatever language they had chosen for their stall or for their exhibit or for their topic, different language teachers help them to make their graphic presentation. Now you also learn how a graphic presentation has to be done. What are the different points to be noted down whenever any graphic presentation has to be done? Okay students, so let's see what are the different points to be noted down whenever you are doing a graphic presentation. So first thing is, write to the point so that the visitor may read a chart or a poster at a glance. Yes, of course. Whenever you are making a poster, the first thing is that you need to write to the point and not any thing just like beating around a bush. Okay, nothing is there in that. Just paragraphs and paragraphs, and there are no points, proper points to be displayed. So whenever you are displaying certain things, you need to put them into proper points. So write to the point. It has to be to the point. Okay, student, not beating around a bush. So write to the point so that the visitor may read a chart or a poster at a glance. At a glance means within a quick look. Glance means a quick look. Okay, so when they see this at a glance, they should be able to understand what is your project about. Okay, so this is the first thing. Next, make use, whenever you are writing the points, you have to use the bullet points, the bulleted list. You might have seen in the PowerPoint and on how here also, now here you can see point is put before this point, right? So make use of bullet points is a point only, right? So before that you can see a dot. So either you can put the bullet points or maybe bulleted list you can put. That means arrows you can put. Okay, or whatever points you have to present. Not like just write in the form of a paragraph, because it will be very difficult for the visitor to read it. So when you make it in the form of a point, it becomes very easy. Then use pictograms or graphs or pie charts. Pictograms, that means whenever instead we say that instead of reading, when we see a picture we understand more. So use a pictogram. A picture should be put, or some graphical data. Suppose there are some numerical data, then you can put it in the form of a graph, so that you can come to know something which is of greater height or smaller height. You come to know whatever exactly you want to tell. That suppose if you want to say that wheat production in the year so and so, okay, if you have made like that chart or graph you have made, you can come to know that okay, in this year the wheat production was this much and this year it had got reduced. Okay, so with the graphs you can understand. Even pie charts you can make. That is, pie chart means a circular thing in which you show in the form of percentage wise, right, to show any numerical data. Okay, then make a rough mini copy. Okay, make a rough mini copy means what? Before you begin work on the big final poster or a chart. Okay, so instead first whenever you are doing a certain thing, you have to always have a small copy of it, a short copy of it before you make it, before you make a fair one. Don't forget to check your spelling, sentences or other errors in the mini copy itself. That means before putting a fair copy, always check for the spellings or the sentence, the framing of sentences or even other grammatical errors in the mini copy itself. Then it is always good to use different colors to highlight certain points and features, but use them judiciously. Judiciously means wisely. Okay, then don't use too much. Okay, don't use too much so that everything is looking colorful and nothing is coming out highlighted. So whenever you are doing, you highlight certain main points only or keywords. Whenever you highlight, it is understood. Don't write everything in color. Okay, so use judiciously. If you have used any text, pictures, diagrams, etc. from elsewhere, acknowledge the source. Acknowledge means you have to admit that or thank the source. That means from wherever information you have taken, you can mention the name of the source from where you have taken. Fine. Then what else can be done? Use pictures and diagrams. Okay, what you have to do, use pictures and diagrams and even label them. It becomes easy to see a picture and read out instead of reading paragraphs and paragraphs. Plan all your posters, charts properly before you start making them. So before whatever charts or posters you are making, you have to plan them in advance before you make a final copy, so that you can do it in your mini copy itself. Fine, students. So this is regarding the graphical presentation. Now next is oral presentation. Now what is oral presentation? Oral presentation means how you are going to explain to them what are the points you need to take into consideration. Let's see what are the points when you are making an oral presentation. The oral presentation or speeches should be short and to the point, that is only 2 to 3 minutes at the most, because people don't remain there for listening to you for a long time. It has to be very short speech. Okay, whatever oral presentation speech you are doing, it should be only for 2 to 3 minutes at the most. Then they should be directly related to the model, demonstration or specimens exhibited in the stall. Okay, so whatever you are speaking, it should be related to whatever model you have made or demonstration you have done or the specimens you have exhibited in the stall. Whenever you are speaking, you need to be confident. Okay, you need to be confident so that the person, whoever is coming and listening to you, will be impressed by your speech. Okay, and he will ask you certain questions regarding your topic if he is interested to hear you, right? Then rehearse the speech well. Now what is meaning of rehearse? Rehearse means you need to practice before you speak in front of the people. So you need to rehearse the speech well. Okay, then be ready to answer relevant questions. Relevant questions means connected with the subject one is discussing. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to answer only relevant questions and practice doing that with your friends. So before you say in front of the people, first you need to practice it with your friend so that you are confident enough. When your friend asks you the question, you are able to answer. The same way you can answer that during your the day when you are putting the science fair. Okay. Next point is make use of the visuals or graphics in the stall. Okay, so make use of visuals means visuals are more much more better than reading, or graphic as I mentioned to you, graphics means it includes pictographs or graphs, pie charts. Okay, some pictures, diagrams, all these are coming under visuals or graphics. Point to the relevant parts. Point to the relevant parts when you speak. So if you have to discuss about something which is very important, that thing you have to point out more. Okay, then wear clean and tidy clothes. You see how this child is wearing a clean and tidy clothes, and do not dress up to show off. So you are not going to show off your clothes there. What you have to do, you have to wear your clean and tidy clothes, or maybe your uniform, whatever you are wearing, it has to be clean and tidy. Okay, but do not dress up to show off to the people. Be polite to the people. Whoever is coming to visit you in your stall, you have to be speaking very politely. Be pleasant. That means be pleasant means when you are speaking, you have to be very good to them. Very speak with lot of smile, right? Pleasant when you talk to the visitors. If you don't know the answer to the question, just say that I will try to find out later on. Okay, but later on try to find out the answer. Okay, so and then finally what you have to do, once you have presented your oral presentation, you have done, what you have to do is give a big smile. Okay students, so today we have covered up to how is the preparation done, how it is organized, what are the plannings done, how the committee is made, and how they have discussed. That we have discussed. We have learned about how is the graphic presentation done, and even oral presentation done. Okay, so the next part of the lesson I'm going to teach in the next video. I hope so you have understood and you have made the relevant points. Also you also can remember all these points whenever you are putting a science fair. Right students, you have learned a lot of meanings today. What I want you all to do is that you need to read the lesson and find out more words which are having which are new to you. Okay, and you try to find out the meaning of these words as your homework for today. Okay dear students, thank you very much.